welcome to the Irresistible Marketing Pod, the podcast that wants you to stop bullshitting yourself with love. I'm your host, Isa Gauchi, your marketing confidence cheerleader and owner of the Isa Messaging digital marketing agency for small business baddies and personal brand rebels such as yourself. Today, I'm calling you out, again, with love. Are you expecting yourself to just get over an emotional reaction that has been blocking you from effectively marketing, growing, or sustaining your business? A block you were deeply conditioned to have through lots of painful reinforcement over the years? If so, that is not a fair or realistic expectation. Today we're going to talk about a much more helpful and effective approach. So let's get into it. I should just get over it. This throwaway phrase is something that I've been hearing crop up a lot lately when I talk with clients and colleagues and cool people I'm meeting through networking. And this phrase comes up when they're talking about what's blocking them from making the offer, from marketing their brilliant work, from following up with that person that gave every indication that they were definitely super interested, from like really clear leads from people who would be probably very happy to work with them. And there's something that's just blocking them from taking what from an outside perspective looks like the obvious next step to ostensibly reach their goal, which is, sign more clients, have more sales, especially from aligned clients, aligned projects, aligned sales, the kind of work they want to do with the people they want to be doing it for. And so it's really interesting that we have this clear desire. We have this whole reason we started the business in the first place. We've done all this work to hone our specializations, to be really clear on who we want to work with and who we want to see succeed and why this matters to the world, to the community. We have really clear, strong, powerful reasons and motivations for this. And yet, something is happening that's preventing us from taking the actions that will get us what we want. It's something that a lot of you can feel really presently. And it's emotional, right? It's an emotional block. And if I press on it a little bit, they can even tell me where it came from usually. They can tell me about a critical parent or a family that has really discouraged them from pursuing entrepreneurship. They can tell me about a partner that is really skeptical. They can tell me about an old boss who told them they didn't have it somehow. They can tell me, they know the person, they know the situation. They can probably remember the conversations that installed this thing that when it is so close, there's a really clear action they can take to go get the thing they want, to go get the clients, to go get the sales, to take a powerful move. Something's stopping them. And then, so they tell me about what the block is, that thing that makes them pull up short. They tell me where it comes from, who it came from, who told them this, who reinforced the message. What did they say? What did they do to reinforce that message that you're not allowed somehow? And then they tell me all of this. And then they say something like, I should just get over it. Or like, well, what you gonna do? Or I should probably deal with that at some point. And I have to give them the eye a little bit because they're telling me about a block that runs very, very deep. That thing that tells them if they take the move, if they make the action that is going to get them what they want, that is going to get them closer to their goals, that is going to get them a win, they're like, I'm not allowed. They're worried they'll be seen as pushy, as salesy, like they're doing something wrong. Someone's going to be mad at them. Someone's going to punish them. Someone's going to criticize them. Someone's going to tell them to get back in their place. Someone's going to tell them that they're asking too much. Who are you to get what you want? And they fear that if they take this action, this clear action to get them what they want, that they'll somehow be put in their place in a painful way. They know the block. They can feel how painful it is. And then they just brush it off as silly and sigh that they should just get over it. But ma'am, those blocks are there because they were put there. You were conditioned over many years of painful consequences to install those barriers in your brain so that you won't be disappointed, you won't be punished, you won't be criticized if you ask for what you want, if you believe you are worthy of what you want, if you believe that you can have what you want. That mental landscape, that perspective, that view of yourself, the value of your work, what is possible for you, what you are allowed in this life, you were conditioned against believing you get what you want. You get to have what you want. You deserve it. And I don't think we're naturally popped out into this world from our mother's wombs believing I am unworthy. I am the result of many miraculous evolutions and chance chemical reactions over millennia. All of that happened, and I am here miraculously rocking stardust. And I'm here and unworthy. I don't deserve to get what I want. I don't get to have it. I am bad. I don't know, I don't know what you believe in. Even if you're an atheist, like I identified as a long time, you can't help but marvel at the miraculousness and random chaos of nature. Like, how is anything here? How is anything here at all? It's all too spectacular and miraculous. So you, the miracle that you are, didn't enter this world believing that you were unworthy of getting what you want, that you were unworthy of being you, that you were unworthy of taking up space in any way that might be considered inconvenient at any time by anyone. And yet, here you are, brilliant you, entrepreneur, with incredible work, with an incredible mission, with deep love for the people you want to serve through your business. Here you are when it comes time to make the offer to the person that's probably going to say yes, who has already told you they need help with what you help with. When it comes time to tell people about what you have for sale and give them the opportunity to better their lives by taking you up on this offer that they need, something stops you. Something pulls you up short and tells you, I'm not allowed to do that. I can't do that. I can't do that thing. It's not allowed to be easy. It's not allowed to work out for me. It's not allowed. And so my point is, I doubt you as a baby had that line of thinking. My point is, you were conditioned to start believing that about yourself, and it was reinforced in a cruel, punishing way over many, many years. And so now that is your default belief. I'm not allowed. Now, I'll try not to get too political here, but can you imagine some oppressive systems and history in our society that might have installed those beliefs? Can you think of some identities that have historically been underpaid, who have not historically been allowed to hold wealth, who have not been allowed to enter the C-suite, who are promoted less, who are paid less for the same work? Do you inhabit any of those identities? I wonder if it benefits the systems that were perhaps built to keep people like you out for a long time, for you to believe you are unworthy of asking for more. Does that belief benefit you or the systems that are oppressing you and have oppressed you for a very long time? Now, sometimes the system is smaller. Sometimes it's a toxic family. Sometimes it's an abusive relationship. Sometimes it's a horrible old work culture where to survive in that system, you had to be small. You had to be non-threatening. And to be non-threatening, you can't be asking for things you want. You can't go around believing you don't have to settle. That you can want more than just the crumbs you're thrown. Those systems don't operate well when we've got little rebels like you out there questioning the system and asking for more. So my point is, whether it was society at large and the systems we've all had to learn how to navigate, or it was microcosms of unjust systems that really benefited from you settling, from you not asking for more, for you not believing you get to have what you want. Those things, those external things that want to keep you small and settling and quiet and going with the flow and being in service to others and not tending to your own needs. That's what conditioned you to have these marketing blocks. You were not born with them, but you were conditioned to have them very deeply over a long period of time with lots of punishment, with lots of reinforcement. So, if you're just expecting yourself to get over it, do you see why that's not fair? Do you see why it goes too deep? Do you see why it needs more intention, more nurturing, more practice, more conditioning in a loving, healthy direction to melt those blocks? Do you see why this is often something you really need support with because it runs so deep? This messaging has been reinforced for so long, you might not even be conscious of when it's operating, when it's taking over and steering the ship that is you, even when you're in CEO mode of your business. Okay, so let me give you a little example to illustrate this. Let me tell you about a horse I get to ride named Charlie. He's a beautiful guy. He's very large. Well, I suppose not very large for a horse, but compared to me, who's all of 5'1", he's very large. He's very fast, he's very intelligent, and he's very sweet. And this angel is deeply suspicious of garbage bins, which we have to walk by often on the way to the arena or out when we are just living our best life, riding about. So he's like 80% sure that at any given moment a garbage can might suddenly animate and try to make him his lunch. He's pretty sure garbage bins are just not to be trusted. Very suspicious of them. They're very scary. Now, here I am, atop a large 1,000-pound beast who can be unpredictable when afraid. Back in the day, when I was a teenager and I was learning how to train horses, I was kind of an unofficial apprentice to a trainer, and horses were my whole life. That's all I wanted to do. Here's what I was taught, which I think in general was kind of the theme, the fad of animal training in general back in the day, maybe even child rearing. I don't know. But basically, we were impressed upon that if a horse is reactive, which can take the form of like what we call spooking, which can be running away, like bolting. It can be bucking, it can be rearing, it can be a protest behavior, which is unexpected, which makes the rider have less control. And because it's unexpected movement and can be kind of violent or fast movement in response to something they're afraid of, because horses are prey animals. So in the wild, their natural response is to run away from the threat or fight the threat if they have to. And so if you're a little rider on top of a horse that's trying to run away quickly or fight the thing, this is when unexperienced or caught unawares riders can fall off and get injured or just completely lose control of the horse. And so it's a dangerous situation. Let's be honest. It can be a dangerous situation. And so back in the day, what we were taught is these protest behaviors was the horse misbehaving. And the way to deal with that is to reestablish your dominance and make the horse go buy the thing. And what was kind of lost in this narrative of, okay, but what was going on? Did the horse just decide I want to become dangerous for my rider randomly out of the blue? No, the horse was afraid. They were having a natural fear response to something they perceived as a threat. So, in my mind, the horse wasn't misbehaving at all. They were having a natural reaction to fear. And so, back in the day, before I had the language and the understanding in my um, not fully formed prefrontal cortex because I was a teenager, I hated this approach and I couldn't tell why. It just felt really icky and awful, and it would often result in a dangerous battle of wills that left the ride alarming and the relationship fractured. And, it was no longer a partnership. It was no longer like a ride where we're working together, where it's a symbiotic relationship. It was a battle. It's a battle of wills, and just got the adrenaline going, and eventually maybe you'd get the horse to go by the thing it was scared of, but only because it was more scared of you than the thing it was scared of in the first place, which wasn't great, which is, I want you to take this analogy for how you're reacting to yourself when one of these blocks comes up, from marketing, from making the offer, from following up, from telling that person, for doing the thing that is going to get you closer to your big goals. So that block is the scared horse part of you. Now you deciding that the correct reaction to your own fear is to just get over it. This is fracturing your partnership with yourself. This is making entrepreneurship a not fun ride. This is creating an internal battle that you are probably not fully conscious of that hurts. It hurts. It doesn't feel good. It's not fun. So let me tell you what I learned in my long time with horses about what works better when a horse is having a fear response that could be dangerous, yet. But as a rider, if I want to handle this better, here's what I found works so much better than trying to force him past the garbage bins just because I said so. Just because I think it's a silly fear, like the top of your brain thinks it's a silly thing that's blocking you. But the horse doesn't agree. The horse is scared. The part of you that's blocking you from taking the action is scared. It doesn't believe the conscious part of your mind that's just being like, just walk by the fucking garbage bin. It's a fucking garbage bin. Your body is really afraid. It's a threat, right? Okay, so here's how I handle it with the horse, with good old Charlie. Okay, so we are walking down the road, see a garbage bin, and he's scared. He tenses up. I can feel his muscles tense. He might even do one of those like bounce things where he kind of like almost jumps startled, and his nostrils are flaring, his ears are up. He's not sure if he wants to go forward. And at this point, I offer him the rein. Yeah, I give him a longer rein so that he can reach out his neck and smell the garbage bin if he wants to without having to step closer to it. So if you're not a rider, here's what that means. If you've ever ridden a horse and felt like you were losing control, your instinct first was probably to tighten the reins or pull back on the reins, which is usually connected to a bit, which gives you some more control over the animal. And when you learn more, you learn how to do less with your hands, more with your seat and your weight. But that's neither here nor there. But the point is, when that horse is having a fear response, I relinquish some control for this 1,000-pound animal. I let him have more reins. I let him have more control. And because I'm acknowledging that he's scared, he's not sure about this garbage bin. He thinks it could be like the equivalent of a scary lion. And the reason I do this is because fearful animals and fearful parts of ourselves get more scared when their control and autonomy is taken away. So I'm like, here you go. You can have some control. You can control this situation for how close, how fast you want to get to this garbage bin. So then, on the long rein, when he's ready, he stretches out his nose and he maybe even bumps the bin, only to discover it's just a bin. It's just a bin. And then once he's been able to check it out himself, then both of us relaxed. We get to go about our ride and have a great time. There's no battle for control, no battle of wills, and no punishment. And here's why that works better. Instead of just demanding he get over the thing he's terrified of, I simply acknowledge the block there. I acknowledge, oh, that's a thing you're really afraid of. I acknowledge it and I take a beat. I don't rush it. I just sit with it. Oh, you're scared right now, honey. Okay. I stay calm. I don't try to change it right away. I'm just like, okay, Charlie, you're scared. Okay. I see what you're looking at. I see you're afraid of the garbage bin. And then I address it with kindness. So I'm telling him he's okay. I'm scratching his withers. I'm letting him have him feel like he has more control by giving him some more rein. My body's staying relaxed. I'm trusting him. I'm trusting his ability to handle it when I'm calm and when I'm kind. Which imagine instead of just asking yourself to just get over it, those deep conditioned wounds that are preventing you from making the offer, from following up, from making the offer to that person, from putting it out there, from marketing. Imagine if instead of reacting to the thing that's holding you back from doing that by just being like, I should just get over it, this shouldn't be a thing. What if you're like, oh man, this goes to a deep wound. I can feel I'm really afraid here. What do I need? What do I need to feel safer about this? How do I hold myself? How do I bring a sense of safety to myself? How do I speak kindly to myself? How do I acknowledge and realize that this isn't me misbehaving? This isn't me being an asshole to myself on purpose. This isn't me thwarting my goals on purpose. This is a deep part of me that's really fucking scared, and it needs my attention, and it needs my kindness, and it needs my love. As many times as it takes to feel able to just move forward, to transcend that block. How would that be different for you? Because when it's a horse, it makes the ride way better. The first way, it ruins the ride. Ruins the relationship. It makes it harder for the horse to trust me to get anything done at all ever. Which I think is similar for how we treat ourselves, right? Like, what if you reacted to your fear, the thing that you're blocking that's blocking you from taking the action that's going to get you where you want to go, with so much kindness that the scared part of you started to trust you more when you ask yourself to do scary things. Because it knows it's not going to be punished within your own head, within your own heart. You aren't going to be emotionally and verbally abusive to yourself when you are afraid. How would that change entrepreneurship for you? How much more often do you think you'd be able to do the scary thing you know is going to get you the results that you really want? Get you those big dreams? How much more willing do you think you'd be if the way you responded to the things that are blocking you was kinder, was gentler, was more aware? I know for me, it helps me move through blocks faster. It makes the whole experience feel better. And it gives me more capacity to show up for my clients, for colleagues, for my teachers, for people in my community, for people I'm networking with just like a clean slate agenda, rather than needing them to save me from something, to give me permission to do something, to tell me I'm okay, to validate me, right? Because I did all that work to be able to do that for myself. I don't need them to make me safe because I already made myself safe, which makes me able to risk more in a courageous way, which opens me up to the possibility of bigger, better results. This is the difference between inching forward in your business or taking like one step forward and three steps back, or making a big leap and then reverting back to a more comfortable form of discomfort and underperformance, and quantum leaping forward, like leaping into your big dreams, like growing fast, hitting success faster, however success looks for you, be it money, be it time freedom, be it the kind of work you take on, the kind of clients you take, whatever success looks like for you. This is the difference. It's how you treat yourself when you're afraid. Because as entrepreneurs, we face uncertainty so much more than the average person, which means we have to deal with a natural fear response consciously a lot more than the average person. And you'll probably find your own old tricks aren't going to work. Like your old avoidance tricks, your old numbing out tricks for dealing with fear and uncertainty, to just disconnect from that feeling. They don't work when you're an entrepreneur because you're calling the shots. You're steering the ship. You're leading the way. And you can't check out from yourself and you can't check out from your vision and still be going in a direction, right? Those tricks don't work. So we need a way to handle the fear that's healthy and that keeps you on track where you want to go and is sustainable. Isn't so hard on your heart. It is hard on your heart when you tell yourself the things that are coming up blocking you from doing what you need to do for your business to get your big goals. When you act like that's just you misbehaving, when it's just something you're doing wrong and not the result of deep wounding. We need to get you a way to be kinder to yourself. So if you have not been able to just get over your marketing and selling blocks yet, of course you haven't. Perhaps you'd like some support to work through it rather than just staying locked in a losing battle of wills with yourself. Now, back to the horse analogy. I told you the first way I learned how to deal with a horse spooking or having a not so great fear reaction that put me in danger. The reason I have this much more gentle, effective approach is partially because of my own brilliance and genius after working and experimenting and training horses for a long time, partly. But there are things I wouldn't have even thought to try. There are perspective shifts I would not have imagined to make on my own if I hadn't been introduced to new ways of looking at it by mentors that I invested in. There is no way I would be this calm atop of a terrified 1,000-pound animal if I hadn't been exposed to other options for how to deal with it, for how to think about it, for how to relate to it. So yes, some of it was me. A lot of it was kind of I launched off of like a diving pad of a mentor opening my eyes to a different way I could look at it, to a different way I could approach it. I don't know if I would have got there without that. Probably wouldn't have. So if you just keep hitting these blocks when it comes time to make the big moves, to do the scary thing you know is going to get you closer to what you want, then perhaps it isn't kind to just keep expecting yourself to get over it or figure it out one day on your own. Perhaps it's time you get someone that can offer other ways of looking at it, other ways of speaking to yourself, other ways of treating yourself when you run into these blocks, when you have these fear responses that go deep, that run deep, that go back to lots of old toxic conditioning and hit old wounds and bring up uncomfortable emotions like grief. Perhaps it's time you work with me. So if you would like some support to work through it, rather than just staying locked in this losing battle of wills with yourself, rather than just keeping on expecting yourself to just get over it. Let's connect. I would love to help you through this. I would love to help you get out of your own way because I know there is more for you out there than what you are currently settling for. So I'm going to really quickly tell you of 3 ways we can connect if this is resonating with you, if this is pushing some buttons, if you're recognizing yourself in this. And I promise if you're feeling called out right now, I'm not specifically calling you out. I made this episode because this is something I help people work through all of the time. You're very special, but you're not that special in this, and that a lot of people run into this issue. So I did not make this episode specifically to call you out. I made this episode specifically to call all of you out that are experiencing this. Okay, so if you're one of those people, you're like, yep, that's me. Recognize yourself in what I'm talking about. Please come connect with me. Here are 3 ways that I can be your personal marketing confidence cheerleader today. Number 1, we can work together one-on-one in the high-touch, high-efficiency season of support container, where I will personally walk you through these blocks and how to melt them. I will personally hold you lovingly, but firmly accountable to your own dreams. And I will personally help you take the big, bold moves to get you there quickly. You can also join my squad of big-hearted, black sheep, rebel entrepreneurs for whom I collectively serve as their marketing confidence cheerleader. P.S. If you are a season of support client, you get complimentary access to the squad membership. It's just a really beautiful community where we kind of approach marketing and growing your business from all angles. So yes, I will teach you marketing tactics and strategy, and I will put my eyes on your marketing tactics and your marketing strategy to make sure we are doing the most effective and efficient moves to get you what you want from your business. But we are also going to be talking about the emotional stuff like all the time. We've got a group marketing confidence cheerleading call once a month. And then in between sessions, you have my full attention in our private Facebook group. I teach a masterclass and or business lab once a month on a topic that is relevant and pressing and potent and voted on by our members. So our themes are always like literally what you're working on right now. We also have 2 awesome avoidance groups a month where you can bring your stickiest projects, the ones you're most likely to procrastinate or have trouble completing on your own, and we body double and have a dance party of it, and we tackle these tasks that you've been putting off because they feel scary or overwhelming, and we get them done together. And then again, we have that private Facebook community where I am prompting you, I'm giving you challenges, I'm giving you pitch practices, I'm giving you optional reflection questions, and then I am insisting that you notice, acknowledge, and celebrate your progress. I am insisting that you give yourself credit for your wins. I am insistent that you give yourself credit for your efforts and notice your growth. I am insistent that you take full ownership of the magic that you are and that you offer. And not just me, the squad's really good at everybody hyping and cheering each other up. Y'all are going to be business besties, probably personal life besties, and it's just such a magical crew. Right now it's all service providers, and we all have similar values and different enough offers that the perspectives in there are just so golden. They're so magical. And the people that are attracted to this group are just really interesting, really cool. Like, you know that one of those icebreaker questions, like, who would you alive or dead want to have a dinner party with? My answer is the squad. Like, literally the squad, the members in the squad are who I'd want to have a dinner party with any day of the week, because they're just so fucking interesting and cool and inspiring and awesome, and it makes me feel warm and fuzzy every time I get to hang out with them. The number 3 way that you can connect with me today, right now, is as your own personal marketing confidence cheerleader, is you can just book a complimentary Zoom coffee with me. So if you know your sales, your audience growth, and your engagement are lower than you'd like, but you're not even sure where to begin to fix it, you're feeling that analysis paralysis, choice overload, don't worry, I can help sort you out. One of my specialties is looking at a big old pile of data and extracting a clear next step. We can chat all about it over a complimentary Zoom coffee. Do please note, while the Zoom coffee is free, I am limiting it to one per person. And then to stay in the cheerleader world, I would love to have you one-on-one in season of support or in the squad. All right, so links for all of the above are in the show notes. You can check out right now from the link and receive your onboarding package within one business day of purchase for season of support and squad. There are payment options and payment plan options for both. So just head to the checkout page and select the plan that works best for your budget right now. Again, the Zoom coffee is free, so you can just book it directly from the link in the show notes. But again, only one per person using the honor system. Thank you so much. All right, that's all for today. Don't forget to drop me 5 stars and a kind review on your way out, because you know you love me. XOXO, Gossip Girl. Okay, love you, bye.